Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Newsroom. I'm your host, KHALID. But today, ladies and gentlemen, is the 4th of October 2024, and these are the stories that we will be highlighting during the course of the show. We'll begin with the demonstrations that are going on in the capital city by a political party in Pakistan. And of course, it comes in the wake of incidents like the presence of our Malaysian Prime Minister, the SCO heads of government meeting that is happening, about to happen in a couple of days' time. And the whole timing of demonstrations such as these seems very strange, and the whole process raises a lot of question marks regarding the timing of these demonstrations. Although there have been many instances in the very recent past where this party has been told to delay its protest because of the current situation in Pakistan, the presence of a leading international dignitary, and of course the SCO summit that is about to happen. But unfortunately, it looks as if a certain political party is looking for a timing such as these to try to show the world an image that Pakistan is not in fact is portraying, or this is an image that this party is trying to portray that is quite different from the actual position of Pakistan or from the reality of Pakistan. This is going to be our first segment. Our second story, ladies and gentlemen, concerns the situation in the Middle East. Today is day 363 of the Israel-Palestine conflict, and of course we all know what has been happening, whether it be in Gaza or in Lebanon as well. Israel has launched the heaviest airstrikes on Beirut so far, with dozens reportedly killed across Lebanon over the past day. At least 18 Palestinians have also been killed in an Israeli jet fighter attack on the Tul Karem refugee camp in the occupied West Bank, with a death toll that is expected to rise. 41,802 people who have died so far. Next, Pakistani mountaineer Sirbaz Khan, who's made history by becoming the first Pakistani to summit all 14 of the world's 8,000-meter peaks, a feat that was accomplished only by a few elite climbers globally. Next, we are going to talk about the World Space Week celebrations that have begun today across the world and also in Pakistan. Of course, with Suparko, which is the National Space Agency of Pakistan, that has been celebrating the World Space Week every year with a number of activities since the year 2005. Finally, we are going to talk about the 29th death anniversary of singer Masood Rana, that is also being observed today. Born in Mirpur Khas, he began singing in 1962 and one of the topmost singers as far as Urdu and Punjabi films is concerned for more than 3 decades. Let's begin with our first story, ladies and gentlemen, and that concerns the protests that have been going on by a political party in the capital city at a time when a leading dignitary is present in the country, and at the same time when a very important moot is about to happen just in a couple of days' time, that is the SU heads of government meeting. We've been joined by 2 guests. Let me introduce them to you one by one. AGHA IQRAR HAROON joins us online. He's a political analyst, and DANIYAL SHEIKH, who's also a political analyst, joins us online. Let's begin with DANIYAL SHEIKH. DANIYAL, I'd like to understand, despite the fact that many political stalwarts, including our interior minister, had asked this particular political party to defer its demonstrations till a bit late, till the Malaysian Prime Minister leaves. Also, Maulana Fazlur Rahman had also advised to wait until the foreign dignitaries leave, and of course the SCO moot ends. Why is there such a rush for a protest such as these to happen at a time like this?
Well, if we go back in history, if you remember the dharna that they gave in even earlier when the Chinese vice premier was supposed to visit Pakistan. So this political party has a trajectory of trying to sabotage any sort of development or any development as in terms of international relations is concerned. And they, like China being such a close friend of Pakistan and a strategic ally, even at that time, they didn't even consider the Chinese premier's visit, how important that was, of what the strategic importance of that visit was. Similarly, they, like throughout, it's very much clear that their mentality, they don't care about what the economic situation of the country is. They don't care about anything else. It's just a one-point agenda, which is to bring one person in somehow in power. So this is a continuation of the same agenda.
All right. AGHA IQRAR HAROON, what is the plan, in fact, through demonstrations such as these? We have seen many a times disruption of and of course infrastructure being partly or completely destroyed, trees also being burnt and other things in the past. We've seen that. What is the basic plan behind their protests such as these? And I'd like to also have your point of view as far as the timing of all of this is concerned.
Thank you so much, Omar. Basically, if first we should talk about the timing. It was precisely 8 September 2014 when the then government of Pakistan announced that the visit of the president of China is postponed. The next tentative day was 23rd March 2015, and even then it was postponed because the dharna that started around in August was very much there. I mean, even 2015. This and that was the time when Xi Jinping wanted to come to Pakistan to officially inaugurate CPAC. So whatever is going on today is basically a continuity. The timing is perfect for this party, which needs only chaos in Pakistan. Perfect timing for that, because SEO is coming over, according to my information, according to 1,500 uh, foreigners, diplomats, and delegates are arriving in Islamabad. This is the perfect time, and the Prime Minister was of Malaysia was here. What this is perfect timing for them, because if you see the history of this party always starts something against the then sitting government whenever this Pakistan is coming out of economic crunch. Just look at today. I think Pakistan index 100 has crossed all limits, historical limits, and inflation is going down. There is after SCO, Saudi Arabia delegation is coming to Pakistan. Then Chinese delegation is coming to Pakistan for CPEC 2.0. These are the perfect timing for PTI. That party believes only in destroying Pakistan's economic interest. And if you talk about, you mentioned yourself. I mean, look, Maulana Saab is there, you can say, somehow or other, you can say they are in connection with Maulana Saab for this constitutional package. Even Maulana Fazlur Rahman, day before yesterday, almost requested everybody, calm down, let this SCO goes on. Then everybody has a right for the protest, because I can, I mean, have you can say you can. I mean, any difference of opinion with Mulana Saab you can have, but they are very stalwart politicians. They think about Pakistan, Pakistan first. For PTI, Pakistan first is not. PTI is a party who had been announcing, officially announcing, if one person who is in jail is no more in the power, then they don't need. God forbid me, they don't need Pakistan. Just imagine this is why my problem is, if you allow me, please, painfully forgive me. Why we consider this group a cult as a political party? This is a very important issue. I have never, ever, consider this group a pressure group as a political party, because political party goes for negotiation, for dialogue. PTI has a history of never been in dialogue, never been in negotiation with any other political party. They always abuse every politician of Pakistan, irrespective of the political background. This is a cult actually. We should read the history of cult, the formation and creation of the cults. Then you can understand why they are doing it today.
All right. Daniyal, I'd like to understand, why have a politics of agitation when you are a political party and when you have also been part of the parliament, and you are some who are more or less affiliated with the party might still be in the parliament? Then why continue with the politics of agitation when the same thing, if you want, can be discussed in a civilized manner during a parliamentary session? Daniyal, this question is for you.
I'm sorry, your voice broke in the end. What was the last part?
All right, I was just saying that why does a party like this one believe in politics of agitation? Why can't the same politics be applied by discussing it during parliamentary sessions?
First of all, Agha Saab just hit the nail perfectly. It's not a political party, it's a cult. And secondly, you see, as far as parliament is concerned, their role, even while in the government, it is unprecedented for any government to be playing to the galleys the way they played. And they would blatantly lie If you would remember one fine day, this man got a revelation that they found some kind of an oil reservoir in the seas in Sindh, and later on we found out there was nothing there. So it's more of a psychological issue, just creating a chaos and drama. Their agenda has nothing to do with the prosperity of Pakistan, and it's their agenda is somehow just to be in power. And as far as your question is concerned, this just shows their hypocrisy, because and like you were saying, they're part of the parliament. They're not only part of the parliament, they're also ruling one of the federating units, and they've been ruling it for more than 13 years now, 12 years now. So it's their third term here. This is their third chief minister. So you can just look at their non-serious attitude, and they're not even. It's not their priority to fix things or to make things move forward. Their priority is just to create a chaos, and somehow the youth, which is emotional, and somehow to emotionally charge them into their favor by playing to the galleries, and for that they're willing to blatantly lie because they have no morals. As far as the traditional politics of Pakistan was concerned, more like Maulana Fazlur Rahman, I could personally disagree with him, but whenever a national issue come forth before him, he has always taken a patriotical stance. So as far as this political party is concerned, they're immense to the whole political arena, and this is part of their agenda. If you remember, like during everyone, even a layman can tell you how important CPAC is for Pakistan's development. But whereas when they were in power, they backrolled it, and no work was done on Gwadar. And not just PTI, there are also other groups working to sabotage the development of Pakistan. Like, for example, the people protesting in Gwadar. Now, why Gwadar? Why not Quetta? Why not the rest of Balochistan? Because they know the international agencies who are trying to sabotage Pakistan's economic growth and security situation. They who don't want foreign investment to come into Pakistan. That is why they're targeting Gwadar. Similarly, now when the Malaysian president is visiting, why now? Why not a week later? Why not a week before? So very much clear why they're doing this, and their agenda is to somehow sabotage the economic growth of Pakistan.
Agha
And
Ikrar,
one more
Haroon.
thing, like today,
Yes. Please go ahead. Go
today
ahead, Daniyal. Go ahead.
whatever whatever economic situation Pakistan is going through today is because of the strict economic policies that we have to follow given by IMF. So it was them who took us to IMF. It was the previous government. If you remember, at that time, the Secretary Finance, Yunus Dhaga, he wrote a dissenting note, and he was very much against it because he knew the ultimately this is not the solution. And later on, he had to resign 2 years before his service was ending. And we all know he was a man of great integrity, and his whole career was very prosperous for Pakistan. And he resigned. So this it all adds up. It's basically, but Agha Saab summed it up very well when he called it a cult. It's nothing more than a cult. Now, if anyone knows the history of cults, you can very easily judge like what they're going to do in the future.
All right, Agha Ikrar Sahab, the fact is that when you see protests such as these happening, it reminds you of previous protests. It reminds you also of the 2014 Dharna. And the fact is that all of these happen at very critical junctures, when something good is happening, when the country is moving forward, when our economy is stabilizing, when our foreign relations are getting better and better, when people are, praising us for our policies and how the country has dealt with different issues, different matters. I'd like to also understand this confrontational policy that this political party has. This party has, of course, the leadership in one of the basic provinces, that is KPK. And therein also we see a confrontational politic with other provinces such as Punjab, with the Foreign Office of Pakistan, because of our clear-cut Afghan foreign policy and the way that they have completely moved in a very different tangent when it comes to the Afghan policy. Is this, or has this been the aim always of this political party?
Umar, I cannot disagree with you. Many answers you have given yourself. So, but before going to answer your question, you twice mentioned a political party in a parliament. Umar, if you remember, this Hitler party was also in parliament, but it was not a party. It was a cult. Again, remember, there was a chunk of some of Tamil Tigers rebels were also elected once in Sri Lanka, and they were also part of parliament, but they were not political party. They were basically separatist. This is not, you can say, a seal that if you are sitting in a parliament, you are not cult. or you are not separatist. So we should be very clear about it. I mean, just two examples came in my mind. I can give you so many examples, in future also. You ask me why it happens. My answer is very simple. If you read the history of this party was crafted after 2010 on a role plan of chaos, fear, hopelessness, and this was all injected into youth. What was their concept of Naya Pakistan? The Naya concept of Naya Pakistan was to dismantle this Pakistan, because according to them, it was not.
Agha IQRAR Haroon, thank you very much. We're a bit short of time. We'll have to cut you short. Thank you very much, Agha IQRAR Haroon. Thank you very much, DANIYAL, SHEIKH, both political analysts joining us for this first segment. We'll be back after a short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Our second segment concerns the Middle East tensions. Today is day 363 of the Iran-Palestine conflict, and of course this is no longer an Israel-Palestine conflict. It's now an Israel-Palestine, Lebanon, Syria, Yemen conflict. We've been joined by two guests to discuss more on that, and both are online. General retired RG MOHAMMAD ABBAS, a senior politician and military analyst, joins us online. Also, Dr. MUNAWAR Hussein, who's a foreign affairs expert, joins us online. Thank you to both my eminent guests to have joined us online. I'll begin with you, General retired RG MOHAMMAD ABBAS. When you look at the current situation in the Middle East, it's no longer just relegated to Palestine. We see it in Lebanon, we see it also in Syria. Let's begin with Syria, where on Wednesday we had seen that there was bombardments in which 3 civilians were killed, 3 wounded. There was an airstrike in Damascus. And of course, this kind of strikes and these kinds of events have been happening since the 7th of October last year. What is the Syrian official response? How is the Syrian government going to react to it? What are you doing on different international fora as well to highlight this and more?
Good evening. Thank you for your invitation. I'm full of pleasure to be with your channel. Actually, it's too important to talk about the problem from the beginning. Let's say that whole of these conflicts nowadays are happening just for the geopolitical position, the strategical position of Syria, and the main strait or the main gate for the Mediterranean to the West Asia, to the power supply, to the gas supply. This position, the geostrategical position of Syria, Lebanon, Palestine, and Iraq is the main important or the most important for America, for Russia, for China, for any country or any state, not country, for any state who are going to dominate or to overcome or to control the whole world, starting by the dominating of the Mediterranean, eastern of Mediterranean, for the Suez Canal, for the let's say the whole region. This region is very important for economical, for geo-economical situation in this world. So the war against this area started actually during 2011 when the American and the Israeli terrorists attacked Syria. So for 13 years, they didn't have the ability, or they failed in defeating Syria, and they failed in making Syria as a failed state. So they started their war in Gaza Strip after the Tufan al-Aqsa, and they took it as a reason to destroy the whole life in Gaza Strip, because Gaza is a let's say the corner, a deep corner and a strong corner in the resistance axis in this area. So they first of all they tried to destroy Syria. Syria didn't defeat it, so they went to Gaza by the what they call it AGHA doctrine, by destroying everything, devastating, destroying for Gaza. Gaza stayed for a powerful, with a deep stationary. They fought against the Israeli army, despite the whole genocide and say ethnic cleansing for the Palestinian people. So after they failed, you could say that the supporting fronts by Yemen, by Iraq, by Lebanon, those fronts started, let's say, started activating, or they affected against the Israel, and they make deep effectiveness. So Israel tried to stop its war in Gaza and turn the war into Lebanon. Actually, it is not the war against Lebanon only, but also in Syria. You know, if you still remember, during 9 of October 2023, Netanyahu said, for this reason, we are going to change the whole Middle East. We are going to change the Middle East and make our Middle East as we know, as we want, as we like, as we prefer. How they prefer? They prefer Netanyahu and Israel. And so, I'd like to sign for them. It's a deep point. Bernard Lewis. Do you know Bernard Lewis? Do you know Zbigniew Brzezinski? Bernard Lewis, who was the philosophy of the Pentagon. He made the main way of how to destroy Islam, how destroy the Islam, how defeat the Islam. And you know, Samuel Huntington, during his book about the conflict between, or the civilization.
That is true, Mr. Mohammed Abbas. The fact is that, you know, this Israeli so-called incursion that began with Palestine, now extended in other areas of the Middle East, is a plan that has been well thought of. Coming to you, Dr. MUNAWAR Hussein, you know, when you look at the current situation in Lebanon, heaviest airstrikes in Beirut so far, with dozens who've been killed across Lebanon. This is not the first time; it's happening since the last couple of days, and then there's a ground invasion that is happening. And to top it all, we see that this is not just relegated to Lebanon, but we are hearing such incursions in Syria, in Yemen as well, and of course Palestine, where the whole atrocities continue. In your point of view, Dr. Saab, what is the greater plan by Israel? Some of it has been maybe the version of Mr. Mohammed Abbas has been put forward. What is your point of view as far as the Israeli planning regarding the Middle East is, and in your point of view, will they succeed?
Well, thank you very much for having me in your show. Frankly speaking, Israeli plan is a greater Israel. And Israelis, they want to expand their territory, and therefore now if you see Jerusalem Post, they are demanding Israeli government to colonize even Lebanon and make Lebanon the part of Israel. And so they have the similar plan regarding Gaza. And in the past, they did the same. I mean, they started war and they started ethnic cleansing and made the place unlivable, and they settled their colonies over there. So therefore, their plan is a greater Israel. And unfortunately, the plan of greater Israel is supported by the global North, and especially United States of America, when America is providing military resources, economic resources, and diplomatic support in United Nations. So therefore, their plan is. And now, whether Israel would be successful or not, I doubt, because the real test of power is a war. And we have many examples in the history, and General Saab knows better, that even US far more capable than the Vietnamese. But what happened with the United States in Vietnam in 1970s? And so is the case of Afghanistan. And my question is that if Israel is using this tremendous hard power against the Palestinians, the Lebanese, the Syrians, what is the result? Is Israel is more secure? The answer is no. Because when they attacked Palestine, the result is Hamas. They attacked Lebanon in 1980s, the result is Hezbollah. They attacked, you see, Yemen, the result is Ansarullah and Hashd-e-Shaibi. They supported Al-Qaeda and IS, the result is Al-Quds Brigade. So Hashad-e-Shaybi. So therefore, Israel is more insecure because the structure in international politics we have can control state, but they cannot control non-state actors. And here I say, and here I predict. So therefore, Israelis are more insecure. And the example is now Russians. They have said their Russian population, Israel, which is about 1.5 million, 15% of the Israeli population leave Israel. So more than million people, they have left Israel, and more millions, they are willing to leave Israel. So is Israel is more secure? So therefore, I doubt that Israel would be able to complete its plan and plan of Greater Israel.
General Mohammed Abbas, coming to you, when you look at Palestine and the situation in Palestine, I mean, 18 Palestinians, the latest say the 18 Palestinians have been killed in an Israeli jet fighter attack on the Tulkarem refugee camp in the occupied West Bank. Then you've got UNRWA's heads who's saying 21 Palestinians have been killed as 3 United Nations run school shelters have also been attacked by the Israeli forces. Then, of course, the total is exceeding 41,800 of those who've perished, and as per the Lancet report, the total is more than 180,000 who have perished. At the same time, you have a United Nations Security Council meeting that is held where Antonio Guterres, who is the Secretary General, calls for an end to this deadly cycle in the Middle East. Do you feel the United Nations can have some kind of a role for diffusing tension, or do you feel that Israel has gone above and beyond, as is the case with previous resolutions, and Israel completely disregarding them?
Thank you. It's good. We are sure that Israel is overstate. Israel overstate. Israel is super state. Israel is over the whole national law, the national law. Israel is over everything, over the humanitarian. Israel looks like herself as a super creation. Choose the Jews for because they are the people who God choose them to him, and other people are looks like animals. I'm really sorry to say that, but the main thing is to look at the American supporting, the Western supporting, who make that Israel in this situation, and it has a deep cancer inside Israel. So they try to look at the others at a not human being. Now, what about the United Nations? We are sure that there's no way for the United Nations to do anything. United Nations fundamentalization. United Nations has no ability to there's no willing in the United Nations to do anything, because this United Nations are conflict or are let's say covered by USA and the West. So we have no choice. There's no way to depend on United Nations. There's no way to Western or the other power outside of our region. We depend only at access. We depend only at ourselves. Unfortunately, to say that the Arab world, Islamic world, the human being world, all this society, unfortunately to say that they are not ready. They don't have any way to support Gaza or Lebanon, Syria, or to stay with the Axis resistance. What's happening nowadays in Tulkarem in the Western Strip, in Gaza, in Tulkarem, in Nablus, in Jenin, in other places, actually genocide, starting from Gaza, not ending with Jenin, and continuing for the Lebanon.
All right. Coming, yes.
You can. Okay.
All right. We're having a little bit of trouble understanding you. There's a bit of a disturbance as far as your audio is concerned. Dr. MUNAWAR Hussain, coming to you. the Israeli United Nations Ambassador Danny Danon tells the United Nations Security Council that Israel is going to defend itself, and the consequences Iran will face for their actions will be far greater than they could have ever imagined. At the same time, today we hear Supreme Iranian leader Ayatollah Khamenei also addressing a mass gathering in Tehran, saying the Muslim world needs to band together against its enemies. In the wake of the attack on Israel by Iran, which Iran defends, and the probable reaction that could come from Israel, what are you looking towards? An escalation, maybe some kind of diplomatic behind the scenes efforts to diffuse this tension? What's going to happen?
Now we are facing not only crisis, but crisis has not been properly managed by the international bodies and international systems. So now we are observing war. It has already been escalated. When Israel attacked Lebanon, when Israel attacked the key leadership of Iran and Hezbollah, and when Israel attacked the Russian military base in Syria. So it has already been escalated. You see, we are in a state of war. And you see, I doubt really Israeli capability, because you see, Israeli jet fighters need 1 hour to reach Iran, while Iranian supersonic missile has ability to reach Israel within 7 minutes. And if Israel is going to attack Iranian nuclear program, so Iranian supersonic missile can hit the nuclear plant of Israel. So therefore, this is a very, very dangerous situation. And regarding United Nations, look, United Nations has 3 problems: the problem of will, the problem of resources, the problem of unity. The problem of will. You see, United Nations has the problem, the element of will to stop this war? I think they have will, because the statement which is coming from the Secretary General of United Nations is showing that they are willing to do this. But now there is a question of resources which United Nations does not have, because UN resources are allocated by Global North. And wherever they want, they implement United Nations resolution, whether it is the problem of East Timor, Darfur, Bosnia, and if they wanted to stop the war between Iran and Iraq in 1988, when Iranians, they entered into Basra. So you see, the resources are allocated by the Global North. If Global South is interested to implement resolution, they have to allocate resources and peacekeeping forces to the United Nations, especially China, Russia, Brazil, Turkey, South Africa, Nigeria, Saudi Arabia. You see, they have to do this. Number third,
Dr. MUNAWAR Hussain, thank you very much. We're a bit short of time. Dr. Saab, thank you very much. We're a bit short of time. But thank you so much to have joined us, Dr. MUNAWAR Hussain. And of course, General Retired RG Mohammed Abbas, our Syrian political and military analyst, to have also joined us. It was wonderful having this first interaction with you, and I hope to see much more of you in our coming shows. Thank you to both of my eminent guests. Let's come to our last stories very, very quickly. Pakistani mountaineer Sirbaz Khan has made history by becoming the first Pakistani to climb all 14 of the world's 8,000-meter peaks, which is a feat that has been accomplished by only a few climbers. So Sirbaz becomes a Pakistani legendary climber. Now, this latest triumph has come today when he scaled Shishapangma, which is an 8,027-meter high peak in Tibet without oxygen, marking the completion of his 14th 8,000er. Congratulations, Sirbaz Khan, to have achieved that. Then let's come to the World Space Week, whose celebrations have begun across the world, including in Pakistan, under the theme Space and Climate Change. Of course, the relation is extremely important, space and climate change. We know how our environment is being destroyed by climate change, and of course, we can look at possibilities on how this new technologies can be used in order to alleviate or to restrict as much of the effects of climate change as possible. Now, SUPARCO also is the National Space Agency of Pakistan, has been celebrating this World Space Week every year since the year 2005. It has been celebrated from 4th of October to the 10th of October. So, of course, today was the first day of this World Space Week to celebrate the contributions of space science and technology for the betterment of the human condition. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, today is the 29th death anniversary of singer Masood Rana, a celebrated musician who has sang in various Pakistani films in Urdu and Punjabi films in particular. He was born in Mirpur Khas, started singing from Radio Pakistan Hyderabad in 1955 and began singing in films from 1962, and there was no looking back. He passed in Lahore on this very day in 1995. May his soul rest in eternal peace. With that, we come to an end of today's Newsroom. We'll see you inshallah on Monday with the news story segments that pertain to us, you and Pakistan. Have a great weekend ahead. Allah Hafiz.